Gotcha. All right, fine, fair enough.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Another Monday night edition of Bring It What Is Up. I'm your boy, the Big Dog. With me, as always, is my boy, Andrew. What is up, Andrew? How you doing?
What's up, guys?
What is up? And we've got Swizzle back in the house, man. What's up, Sizz?
What's going on, man? I couldn't get enough of you guys, so I had to come back.
Yeah. You came back, gave us a little sneaker education, and now you want to drop some hot takes from Atlanta on us tonight, which is actually perfect. Because Atlanta's the big story in the NBA after last night, so we can definitely start there with Game 7, Atlanta and Philly. Sizz, you're down there, man. What's the talk? What's the word in Atlanta? Just lay it on.
It's hot in the city now. I feel that's why they call it Hot Atlanta here. Man, honestly, I think everyone's just surprised. No one expected Atlanta to get this far. I honestly thought I think the Knicks might have had them, So I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just like, it's kind of like that not Sweet 16, that Cinderella, like they do in March Madness. That's kind of what this is for them in the NBA. So it's cool, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. No one expected. Although, Andrew, you kind of called it when the Knicks played Atlanta. You were like, if any team we got to look out for is Atlanta. You called that a few weeks ago.
I was saying that before the playoffs even began, when we were looking at seeding. And the one team, as a Knicks fan, I don't want the Knicks to get is the Atlanta Hawks. I wasn't worried about any other matchup for the Knicks, the way that Julius Randle was playing. But I figured, and to myself, how they just cannot stop Trae Young. They just don't have that piece. They can slow down Durant. They can slow down Harden with Barrett. They have the pieces to slow down other positions. Randall can body Giannis. You could do a decent job on Embiid. It would be more of a series. But I didn't think that they'd be able to handle Trae Young, and they weren't able to. And Atlanta got away from Philly last night in 7, and I think they are the Cinderella story of the league right now. I think if you're a basketball fan and you look at the three other teams that are in the playoffs still standing, I think the Hawks are the most exciting one, the most exciting team to watch.
Oh, definitely. I think the Hawks have the best shot, and I'll say this because they're playing with house money. There's no pressure. There's no one expecting them to be there. They're just balling. They're just having fun. And think about everyone talks about like, oh, Giannis has got to do this. Giannis has got to do that. All the pressure's on him now. And everyone's saying, oh, well, who on Atlanta is going to guard him? It doesn't matter. Atlanta's fast. Atlanta's quick. Atlanta's young. There's no pressure on Atlanta. There's absolutely no pressure.
No pressure. And plus, okay, so every other team that's also in the playoffs, you look at them. The Suns are facing injury right now. They're playing with a negative on their back. The Clippers have injury right now. They're playing with a negative on their back. I think Paul George is also playing with a target on his back. And then you look at the Bucks, who I think have underperformed significantly for the past, we'll say, 3 to 4 seasons, especially last year's exit against Miami. For the Hawks, it's just, let's go out and have fun. Whatever happens, happens. Those other teams have a lot more pressure on them.
Exactly. Go ahead, Sis. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say they call that fun ball. Play AAU. It's just like, man, we're just going to go out. We're going to have fun. And, hopefully we win. If not, no big deal. We weren't expected to be here anyway. So, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just a I agree with you when you say house money.
Oh yeah, and the best thing about Atlanta last night, and if you look at the stat sheet, Trae Young did not have a good night shooting in the first, second, and third quarter, but he kept shooting the ball. Unlike Simmons, who decided not to shoot the ball at all, gives up a dunk at the end in the fourth quarter, which Embiid basically called him out on. I mean, Andrew, Ben Simmons, all this talent, and yet just goes to sleep in the fourth quarter, man. I mean. And he's getting paid. He's getting paid.
All right, so he's a good passer at 6'9". But what else? I mean, that's about it. I mean, at 6'9", 6'10", and he's playing the point guard position. Okay, that's why he gets his rebounds, because he's got no one boxing him out. He comes in from the wing. But I think he's a bust. I've always thought he was a bust. And he didn't shoot once, not just in the fourth quarter of this game, but he didn't shoot once in the fourth quarter of the last 4 games.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's like back in the day, you know how like Rondo was such a good point guard, but he just never shot the ball. Like when you thought of Rondo on the Celtics, you're like, oh, just stay back, let him shoot. That's like Ben Simmons, but worse.
Yeah, but it was okay for Rondo because he had Paul Pierce and Ray Allen to shoot outside, and he could always go down low to Garnett. Their Sixers are leaning on him to be their leader. Or dynamic duo with Embiid, and I think Simmons would be a great fit for any team where he could be the 4th or 5th man as the option, and just play point guard. Just play and do not have to do anything but bring the ball up, make some nice passes, and that's it.
I don't know how you're gonna win if your point guard just can't make free throws. I've never seen that before in my life.
No, I mean. Yeah, he shot 33% for the entire series. I mean, it's the most basic part of the game is the free throws. I mean, even Shaq in the Hack-a-Shaq days but it wasn't this bad. It was not this bad. I mean, they were calling it Hack-a-Simmons last night on TV.
But he also doesn't contribute anywhere else outside of assists. I mean, he rebounds, but he doesn't contribute as a scorer, as a shooter. He's not a 3-point shooter. He's not like Shaq, who is dominant with high field goal percentage.
Right.
He doesn't contribute anywhere else.
Did you see what Doc said at the post game? What do you think that means? Is he gone?
He kind of like averted away from the question.
Yeah,
right.
An answer. He was like, "Oh, we'll have to get him back in the gym, and we'll see what the future holds." Like he didn't say anything.
Do you think they're going to give him that year to like put in the work, or do you think they're just going to scrap it?
I think that the entire organization needs to get past the whole trust the process and move on from the process. That's
definitely. Well, there was a report that he was supposed to play for Australia in the Olympics, and now they said that he's not going to play and he's going to work on his game. I mean, but his brother is his shooting coach. Well, he needs to get a new shooting coach because obviously his brother's. I just heard that about a half hour ago. His brother's not working. But what kind of But you're talking about a player like Simmons, who's 6'10". I mean, you can't teach size. He's obviously has ball handling skills. But how do you not even give up an easy open dunk like that, like he did in the fourth quarter? He completely gave up that dunk, passed the ball, his teammate gets fouled, only hits 1 of 2 shots. I mean, that's a huge 2, possibly 3-point turnaround right there. And when the score was 88-86, I mean, hell, I would have tried to make the dunk, and I can't jump,
he was scared. I don't care what he said. He said something about he just thought the defender was on his back and he was going to throw it. I was like, no, you were scared. You're scared and you didn't want to shoot. You thought you were going to get fouled. You didn't want to shoot.
And go to the line.
Yeah, you didn't want to shoot.
The guy was on his back.
Right. I just don't understand. I mean, and if Rivers can see that mentality, why is he still in the game? If he's not contributing, why is he still in the game? Seth Curry should have been in the game late for the Sixers last night. He was 6 of 10 from the field. He was, what was he? He was 3 of 5 from 3-point land. So, in my opinion, Curry should have been in. Simmons should have been on the bench. He wasn't contributing. You needed scoring. You needed a shooter. I mean, Embiid was trying to carry the team on a bum knee, which I give him all the credit in the world. He had a lot of heart last night. He tried to do it all by himself. It was crazy. But and we'll get back to Atlanta in a minute. But we were saying, what kind of value does Simmons even have? I mean, after a performance like this on national television, I mean, who's going to take the risk on him? Who's going to try? Where would he even fit? You know, I mean, let's see. I think
I'm biased as a Knicks fan. I think he would honestly be a good fit there.
Right. I mean,
Randall and Barrett. I just think that would be a good fit.
I mean, you could try and ask LeBron to save him. If he goes to the Lakers, what would that do?
Well, Magic Johnson was on ESPN Radio this morning in an interview. I don't know if you guys heard that interview. It was a great interview. And he was just being right up front and saying that, you know, Simmons, you know, physically reminded him of Magic when he was young because, you know, Magic was still kind of skinny, wasn't really built up yet. He's like, he's got to get out of his head. And they said, could he play with LeBron? He's like, well, anybody could play with LeBron. But is LeBron going to put up with that at this age? You know, I mean, LeBron wants ring. LeBron's 36. He's been playing for almost 20 years now. He wants rings. He doesn't want anybody, you know, just like, oh, I don't want the ball. You know, he doesn't want those kind of players. So it'll be interesting if he goes to LA, you know, where he ends up. There was a theory out there, and let's see, what did Nate say here about Jamal Murray? Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting theory, Nate. You know, being a backup behind Murray, but he's
not going to play backup anywhere.
For that kind of money, you're going to pay a backup that kind of money because he's got that big contract, and is Denver going to take on that contract when you know? I mean, I don't know what kind of money Jokic is making, but they're going to have to, you know, open up the checkbook for him eventually. So.
Yeah, I still feel like he's a starting point guard. I just don't know where.
I just think it's a team that already has other scorers, and they don't need that type of offensive output from him. That's why I thought that unbiased said the Knicks, because the Knicks don't need a scoring point guard. Imagine having him with Barrett and Randall and a healthy Mitchell Robinson. That's a scary offensive lineup.
It could be. What about this idea? I read this today. Golden State, Curry, you know, you got Curry, Thompson, and you got Draymond. Those are your top three scorers. You have him running the point. He doesn't need to score. He just needs.
That doesn't work. But that's not going to work because Curry's the point, especially when Clay comes back.
Now, but if Curry plays the two,
but you take the ball out of Curry's hands.
Yeah, but you can still bring if you have Simmons bringing up the ball, you know, and then dishing to Curry. Curry's one of the best guys to move without the ball. He always moves without the ball. Gets open. So that's.
But he's also how incredible is he when he has the ball in his hands, dribbling and is just throwing up those 25, 26-foot threes off the dribble.
True. No, that is true too. You know, I mean, I read it. I was like, that's an interesting idea. You know,
it moves everyone. Then you got Clay at small forward. He's not a natural small forward. He also hasn't played in 2 years.
True, and I don't physically he can't guard a lot of threes.
And
in the league.
Draymond is an undersized power forward,
right?
Whose best years are behind him anyway. But it's a concept. It's an interesting idea, but I don't think you take the look what Stephen Curry did this year by himself. You can say,
right?
I don't know why you would take the ball out of his hands. It's not really broken.
No, true. I think I read that Colin Cowherd put that out there, so I thought it was interesting. He's always has some interesting theories. Let's get back to Atlanta for a minute. Bogdanovich got hurt towards the end of the game, so they don't play till Wednesday. So he's got a couple days to recover. That should be interesting. But Gallinari came off the bench and really supplied some oomph. But the kid out of Maryland, you know, I can't even pronounce his last name. Is it Waiter?
Porter, something like that. Yeah.
He was hitting shots. He just stepped up. And that's the thing about Atlanta, as you were saying, you know, they're young, they're quick, they're playing fearless, you know. They have all these role players, you know. I mean, I was like, you know, the redheaded white kid, all right, you know, the redheaded stepchild stepping up last night. It was awesome.
They call him Red Velvet.
Oh, is that what they call him? All right.
I love watching Gallinari chug down court for that dunk.
That was great.
I thought he was gonna break down halfway.
Yeah, all the Knicks fans. All the Knicks fans are like, wait a minute, where was that when we had him, right?
I didn't think he could still dunk.
That's crazy. I'm still not over that Collins dunk on Embiid. Did you see him wear that T-shirt at postgame?
No.
Oh, yes.
What was that?
He wore a T-shirt with a screen print of the dunk when he dunked on Embiid.
Oh, that's funny. Let me ask you a question. So we're talking all about Simmons and whatnot. None of that is such a surprise, but let me ask you, how much does this fall on Embiid's shoulders?
I feel bad for him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel a little bad.
I do too. Physically, Embiid, he's always had injuries. He doesn't play a whole season. He's going to want a max contract. How can you pay a guy who can't stay healthy, but he is the heart and soul of that team? But you can't move on from him because he's still, when he's on, you can't stop him. Definitely.
When he's healthy, the guy has 50-20 rebound nights and then shoots threes. But he also has failed to lead this team in the playoffs. And I also think, and you look back at some teams of certain eras, sometimes they're just not good enough. The Knicks in the 90s were not good enough. Neither were the Utah Jazz of the late 90s. Sometimes teams just, their very best. The Clippers at one point, during the Paul Griffin, DeAndre Jordan era.
Right.
For 3-4 seasons, everyone kept saying this is their year. Same thing with Harden and the Rockets. They were like, how many more times can they lose until something gives and they're going to win? Teams just run their course, reach their peak, and it's not good enough. And I think that's what happened with the Sixers. Is this process got them this far, and Kawhi had a bounce that knocked them out, but it still happened. It's still something that can't be changed. And I think the Sixers have just peaked from that bounce. I don't think they'll ever be as good of a team that Kawhi single-handedly knocked out.
No, true. But do you think, but then they bring Doc Rivers in this year. Doc Rivers coaches them to the 1 seed, but they still can't get over the hump. So is it the players? Is it the coaching? What they said, trust the process. Well, is the process the players or the coaching?
Listen, look at the Hawks. Look at the teams that are competing right now. Look at the Suns and look at the Hawks. They don't have yes, Trae Young is great, and yes, Devin Booker is great, but neither one of them is on an Embiid level. And
right.
I'll say this. I think the teams that are now in are playing team ball.
Exactly.
Right? Like the Suns are playing team ball. The Hawks are playing team ball. Even Milwaukee on the second stretch of, versus the Nets, they were playing team ball. I'm surprised with Middleton. I'm sorry. Like he's coming to his own now. Yeah, they're all playing team ball.
Yeah.
And I just think Philadelphia, they had the players, but it just wasn't there for me. It just wasn't there.
Them losing Redick, I don't know if it was before this season or before last season, but he was their go-to 3-point shooter. That hurt.
That's right. Where'd he go?
Isn't he on the Pelicans? I believe he's on the Pelicans.
I think so. Yeah.
He had a horrible year. I know that's because I had him in my fantasy team for the first half, and he was just horrible this year. He couldn't buy a bucket. But that season against Toronto, he was a pivotal piece. And I don't really know what happened to Tobias Harris. Everyone was riding him high, and no one's even talking about him after Game 7.
I barely heard his name.
I also kind of think, we were talking, it was just last week, you brought up how, Harris has been the savior for this roster, and I was like, this guy's been a journeyman in the league ever since he left Orlando. I couldn't tell you, I know he was on Detroit previously, but I couldn't tell you the team prior to Detroit. I just know he's bounced around. Right. I think he might have even been a Clipper at one point. The guy has bounced around so many times, and now all of a sudden he has a few good games for the Sixers, and they're making him out to be a superstar, and he was nowhere to be found.
No, and there's talk. His contract's up in a year. He's going to want big money. Do you give Tobias Harris? You don't give Tobias Harris that kind of money. You just can't do that.
I hope not.
No, I hope not either. That'll be interesting. So basically, Atlanta's got a couple days. They got to go to Milwaukee. From an NBA ratings perspective, this should be interesting because everyone's going to tune in and want to see if Giannis can deliver and finally get Milwaukee to the finals. Everyone's going to want to see the underdog Atlanta. I know I'm very tuned into this series, especially now with with watching Trae Young. I didn't really watch him too much over the season, not really much in college, but watching him in these playoffs, he's come out, really popped up. His level has really gotten up there. He wasn't an all-star this year, but I think from forward, he's definitely going to be a perennial all-star. So, Vernon down in Atlanta, they're going to be excited about this team. Is there any chance you're going to be able to go to the games at all? You got to hook up for tickets, or?
I do actually. I might try to go to one.
Would you go to a finals game if they made it to the finals? Would you absolutely go to that?
Oh, I would have to. That's NBA finals. I'd have to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you end up going to a game, get some video and we'll post it up here next week.
Oh, that's the bet. Yeah, I'll do that.
That'd be dope.
You know what I think is pretty cool, and I don't know if I texted you this last night or someone else, y'all, but if you look at these 4 teams that are in the conference finals right now, it's cool to see these 4 teams because of the 4, the last time we saw either one of them in the NBA finals was 1993.
Right, exactly.
Crazy.
The Atlanta Hawks never played in the NBA finals. They won a championship as the St. Louis Hawks in 1958.
Right.
The Clippers obviously never. I'm not sure what they did in San Diego. I had to look back into that in the 80s. So Clippers never in the finals. And the Bucks, I think that when they had Alcindor, I think that they got there a couple. Maybe they even
I think it was 71.
Right,
71.
Like 71. So
before they traded Alcindor,
with the exception of the Suns in '93, you're going all the way back to the '70s for one of the other teams. I mean, that's pretty cool. That 2 of the 4, it's going to be either the Suns or the Clippers, or the Hawks and the Bucks in the NBA Finals. Terrible from a rating standpoint, but very cool from a fan who doesn't want to see the Lakers.
Well, I disagree. If Giannis makes the finals, it's big rating. If you have Giannis versus Chris Paul,
Kawhi comes back, if he comes back.
If Kawhi comes back,
Kawhi's going to be back next year.
Yeah, if Kawhi comes back, even if the Clippers make it, it's a huge story because the Clippers have never been to the finals. And with the Lakers being there last year, having the other team from Los Angeles final there is good. You know, obviously, if Giannis makes it, huge ratings because he's been an MVP. And, you know, I mean, finally him to make the finals. You know, Chris Paul finally getting his chance to get a ring, huge story, you know. So, I mean, I think people are going to be interested, you know. I mean, the biggest reason they said the ratings were down last year was just because of when it was. It was right smack in the middle of football seasons.
True.
But now they're going to have basically July to themselves. You know, it's baseball. I mean, no one watches the dog days of summer in baseball in July. So the ratings should be decent enough. I mean, I know I'll be tuned in. My biggest problem is they start the games too late here on the East Coast. But you know, I'm an old man, so what are you going to do about that?
I also think it's kind of cool to get this far into the season, and we'll get to the finals in a couple of weeks without a LeBron or Stephen Curry or Durant, Harden, a mega. I mean, yes, Giannis is still top 5, definitely, you know, debatably, definitely top 10. But you know, without that household big ticket name that's been there for a couple decades, every single season, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it introduces the public to more players, more young stars like Devin Booker, like Trae Young. You know, I mean, you know, and we'll talk about the Clippers in a couple minutes, but yeah, it definitely exposes the league to more players and more players. I want to move on to the other Eastern, the Game 7 from Saturday night, Milwaukee and Brooklyn. Basically, you know, injuries is what defeated Brooklyn. I mean, yes, Milwaukee played and they won 4 games, but it was the injuries that defeated them because, as you saw, when the 3 of them were on the court, they were unstoppable. I mean, I know, Drew, you and I talked about this weeks ago when 3 of them were playing. It's like, you know, who's going to beat those guys? Well, they beat themselves, right?
Well, and how many? So 72 regular season games. They went 7 in the second round. I'm not sure how many games the first round went, but let's just say they've played 80. That they've had 85 games this season. How many games have the 3 of them played together?
Yeah,
I don't even know if it's 3 games.
It's crazy.
I don't think so. I don't think it is.
No, if it's 10, it's lucky. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, I mean, Kevin Durant obviously, you know, carried the team. Harden was a shell of himself on the floor, although he did shoot Saturday night, but he wasn't hitting anything. Well, maybe because he wasn't getting elevation, everything like that. All right, thanks. 8, Nate. All right, thank you, Nate. That was 8. Cool. He wasn't getting elevation on his shot, so I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame to see these guys, you know, hurt and not be able to play at their full potential. You know, but just in general, I mean, once again, you know, Harden. I hate to point the finger at Harden, but once again, Harden fails in the playoffs. It's either he doesn't show up or he gets hurt. But it's like he has this curse on him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I mean, I'm gonna point the finger at Harris. That's where my finger's going. I'm pointing to Harris, man, because he's supposed to hit those shots, man. You've been hitting them all season. Supposedly, he had the highest 3-point percentage this season.
I think so. Yeah.
You're supposed to hit that. Like, you know what I mean? If he would have hit just a few of them, they would have won.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. No, it's amazing how these, how like the shooting, how you get these players who are so consistent, and then when it comes down to crunch time, I mean, I don't know if they're choking or their nerves or whatnots, but I mean, I'm sorry, maybe call me biased, but if you're getting paid, even the league minimum money is more money than I'll probably ever see in my lifetime. I mean, you got to hit those shots, especially if you want a contract.
I agree.
You do, man. It's a role.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So now, I mean, obviously, Steve, you can't point any fingers at Steve Nash. I mean, Steve Nash was basically there to just kind of be a manager of some sort, to more manage egos, if anything. I mean,
right.
did Steve Nash really coach? I mean, I don't think so. To be honest, that type of thing. But yeah, that was definitely interesting. To see what happened in that series. How it was like home court, and then all of a sudden, Game 7. I mean, Durant was exhausted. Came to overtime in Game 7. You clearly saw it on that shot. He had no lift in his legs left. He threw up an air ball. I mean, how much can the guy do after being out for as long as he was with the injuries he was? And then, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But and then I want to talk about the Game 1 yesterday, Phoenix and the Clippers. Phoenix goes up 1-0. Devin Booker has the game of his life yesterday. And it shows how good that Phoenix team is. That yes, Chris Paul was out, and it shows, A, how good Booker really is, and B, how those guys are just firing on all cylinders right now. I mean, let's just talk about the Phoenix Suns and what they're doing right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, I think the Suns handle business, like they needed to, and it just shows how good they actually are. What I like though, I like how Chris Paul's still there in some sort, even though he's not there physically. You know what I mean? Like all the players were saying, he was always texting, always FaceTiming, always, talking to them some sort of way, even though he wasn't there. And I think that's what a leader is all about.
Definitely.
Devin Booker stepped it up with that triple-double.
Yeah.
Triple-double in conference finals history.
Was it what shit? You broke up. Say that again, Drew.
It was only the 4th triple-double in conference finals history.
Wow, I did not know that. Yeah, he was on fire a lot yesterday. I mean, and I think if you look at the entire lineup, what they all did. I mean, they had 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 6 guys in double figures. I mean, Crowder scored. Ayton had a amazing game from the middle. I mean, it's just. It's incredible how these guys are just firing all of a sudden. Monty Williams has done an amazing job over there. Really stepped up his coaching game, as we've talked about everything he's been through in his life and his career. To have this opportunity. And as you said, Chris Paul staying in touch with all those guys.
I feel so bad for the like. I wish that the league can put the series off because they got this far. I mean, yes, they had a phenomenal game yesterday, but I would hate for them to lose because of this protocol.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, it would be bad. But I mean, the rules are rules. They got schedules to keep. There's a lot of money involved, TV contracts. I mean, we all know the way it goes, unfortunately. But I mean, if the Suns can go up 2-0. And not have Chris Paul on the floor, well then, I think it works out.
Nah, I actually don't want him to go up 2-0 because then that's when the Clippers actually start to play.
Not without Kawhi.
That's true. Well, Kawhi's already been ruled out for tomorrow. I read that. He's likely out.
I think he's out for next year. I think it's going to come.
Yeah,
out.
I do too. Dude, I think that's an ACL. I think he tore something, bro.
Yeah, I think they're going to they're going to play it slow. They're going to slow play this so that teams can't really figure out how to put their game plan together. But it's just going to be one game at a time, and then you'll see that it's the torn ACL.
Yeah. No, I definitely think. But I find it interesting how, without Kawhi on the floor, how Paul George has been able to step up. We talked before how Paul George has been overrated and has never really, proven himself, but he's getting a chance. I mean, he's been playing real well since Kawhi went down. You got to admit that.
Maybe he's just one of the. Listen, he was really good in Indiana where he had no one else to play with. Maybe he's
That's a fact.
Maybe he's just one of those players who just is a great player by himself, but just is not good with another superstar.
But as we've proven in this league, you need to have another superstar to win. I mean, that's pretty much the name of the game right now.
I 100% agreed.
It's pretty crazy. The other interesting stat from yesterday's game was Reggie Jackson was 10 of 19 from the field, had 24 points. And there was a couple plays where they were basically leaving him wide open to shoot. And I'm yelling at the TV. I'm like, cover him. He's going to hit it. And every time he was wide open, he hit his shot straight on. It was it's like, I mean, those are the holes in the system I saw with Phoenix yesterday. They're not rotating while the ball's rotating around. They're not stepping up. They're just like jump guarding. It's like you're not going to stop these guys. These guys are hitting their shots. They definitely need to tighten up their defense. For sure.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a good thing like that. All right, Nate, let's get a little score update if we can on the hockey game. What's going on with the Islanders in Tampa right now?
All right, so with 10:20 left in the first period, the Tampa Bay Lightning are up 1-0. Just to give a quick prediction, I think the Lightning are going to win this game because they have not lost one game after they have not lost back-to-back ever like this season.
All right, cool. All right, so far 1-0 Tampa on that. So at this point, so let's just make a little off the wall prediction. Why not? I mean, just what are we thinking? For the. I mean, we already know Phoenix is up 1-0, but we can still predict that series. So let's first go through that series and Sizzle, make a prediction here. What do you think the series is going to end up?
I'm going with the heart and going for what I want, and I want the Suns to get one. I think CP3 needs it, so I'm going Suns. And I think I'm gonna go in 6.
Suns in 6, so they win game 6 in LA. All right. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I got it. I don't think it's going 7. I don't think it's going to go as quick as 5. I do think Suns in 6 as well. And I would love to see Suns Hawks at this point. The battle of the guards. I think that'll be the most intriguing matchup.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. I have Suns in 6 too. 5 is a little too short. I know our boy Jay Ness here at the network who lives in Phoenix would love to see the Suns sweep, but he was just talking. I was talking yesterday, but yeah, I think Suns in 6. They'll definitely lose one in LA. So 6 is definitely a good bet. And what about the East? Atlanta, Milwaukee. Drew, you just said Atlanta. So how many games do you think Atlanta's going to win in?
That might be another 7-gamer. Milwaukee's at full strength right now. They're not going to without a fight. I mean, listen, this matchup's in Milwaukee's favor. I think I'm on Atlanta's bandwagon right now. They beat the Knicks, so if the Knicks are going to lose, I'd rather them lose to the best that they can lose to. But I think they're the most exciting. I'd rather see them play in the finals. I think Trae Young has more heart than and wants it more than Giannis. And I just think that matchup between him and if Chris Paul can come back, great. But if not, him and Devin Booker just going at it, that'll make for a great NBA Finals.
Oh, for sure, definitely for sure. And Vernon, I know which way you're going, but just give us a number of games.
Man, no, it's going one of two ways. It's either they're gonna battle it out, and I'm saying they're going either 6 or 7 games, or the Bucks are just gonna wipe the floor with them and sweep 4 or 5. But ultimately, I think the Bucks are gonna win.
But your heart's in Atlanta, but your head says Milwaukee.
Yeah, I want to see the city. I want to see the city have a party.
You want to have a parade?
I want to see a parade.
There's always a party in Atlanta. We know that.
That's how I felt about Denver in the.
Exactly. Yeah, I like Atlanta in 7, to be honest. I really do. I just something tells me this is a team of destiny, and just like Miami was on a roll last year, I think this team same kind of thing. For something, my heart tells me that. All right, so we'll see what happens. Interesting story in the NFL today. Las Vegas Raiders linebacker Carl Nassib came out publicly that he was gay. First active gay man to come out as gay in the NFL. Huge story, huge step. Most of the league has been so far supportive. A lot of good positive tweets coming out. Obviously, definitely a good thing. But do you think there's going to be any backlash, Vernon, and what kind of backlash? Or is the league just really going to tell these guys just squash it? I don't want no bad PR. Let's just keep this. Let's keep it all positive.
Well, first thing, I didn't know he's the first. You said the first active player to ever do it.
Yes.
Who was the other one? Michael Sam.
Yes,
yeah,
Michael
but he never.
Sam.
You know what? That's right. But he never made the NFL.
He never made the NFL.
Oh wow.
He only played
Right.
3 seasons.
That's crazy. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. No. Hey man, it's 2021. I think probably going to start seeing more of this. Is he going to see backlash? I don't think so. I think we're in a time now where there's so much injustice talk and so I think if something was done to him in a negative light, it would be bad, for the NFL and just the league in general. So, I think it's going to be taken fine and good, and it's not really going to really do anything.
Oh yeah, no. I hope I hope it's all positive. It's in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a very progressive city, a very tolerant city. So it's not like it's in a very conservative market. So the city's going to get behind it. The entertainment community is going to get behind it. There's going to be a lot of public support for him and for the entire cause. Andrew, just give me your quick take on this.
I think like it says, it's 2021. I think that he will not receive the backlash that he may have received in the locker room just maybe 5 years ago, if not even less, let alone 10 years ago. But I do think that there's going to be some incident from an opposing player where, things are said.
While they're playing, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Someone's going to say something. We know what they're going to say. What comes of it? Will his teammates come to his defense because something was said? I would like to think so. I would have a hard time believing that they wouldn't, because at the end of the day, they're a brotherhood. That's how that's how it is in a football locker room.
Right.
But he's definitely going to hear every word that you could imagine from the opposing team. He's going to hear it from the opposing fans for sure. He's going to hear from the opposing fans. But I do think the hometown support will be unrivaled. I think that his teammates' support we're never in a better time than we are today to have that teammate support. I think his jersey sales are going to be sky high, and like you said, he's in Vegas. He's going to have his whole fan base supporting him in Vegas that the city would offer him. Maybe the Niners. I know San Francisco has a very large population, but I think especially Las Vegas, I think he's going to become a fan favorite of that team. And listen, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't think someone's popularity should be defined based off of their sexuality or anything like that. He shouldn't be a fan favorite, or should not be a fan favorite just because of his preferences. It's but nevertheless, I think he will be.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'm heavily into the entertainment community down here in Florida, and I have a lot of coworkers who are gay and lesbian, this and that. And, my theory is hey man, you love who you love. And as long as you're happy, who cares? What's the difference? Just it's huge that he came out and is being public about it. And I 150% support it. But the league should just be hey, let the guy live his life. Don't bother him. Let's not have this turn into a PR thing, And the NFL is a PR machine, as
there
we
will
know.
be a PR thing.
But I think
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
But in a positive way. The NFL is definitely positive, because we know the NFL is a PR machine. So they'll definitely turn a positive thing on this.
Let's just say some random Raider comes out and says something about how he won't dress in the locker room with him.
Well, Gruden's going to be like, well, then you know what? Gruden will either cut him or just say something like, if he doesn't want to dress in the locker room, well, then, he can't play on this team, or he can, go dress on the street.
What if it's their best player? I'm not looking at the Raiders roster right now, but let's just say it's their best player. Comes out, they're their best linebacker,
Didn't they just get a top receiver? What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, go with whoever. I don't know the Raiders very well.
Well, they traded their best linebacker, Khalil Mack, years ago. So
right, he's not there. And Marshawn Lynch was a one and done. But
right.
You know what? Marshawn Lynch came out and said that.
You know, I mean, players are going to say what they're going to say, they're going to do it on social media because a lot of these players, you know, are, you know, they'll type it out. They won't actually come out and say it. You know, I mean, there's going to be. I'm sure Gruden's going to have an issue to deal with in the locker room. I mean, he's going to try to keep it as private as possible, as in-house as possible. You know, and he's going to tell these players, hey, if you got something to say, don't put it on social media. Let's deal with it here. Let's not, you know, go public with it. Let's not make a big deal about this. You know, the league's on our side and this and that. And we, you know, they're going to have fans finally at the stadium this year, at that beautiful stadium in Vegas. So I think Gruden will just squash it before it even gets out. You know,
I agree. I also think that, you know, I'm coming back to this in 2021. I don't think a player is stupid enough to say their comments publicly either.
Right.
I think that they're at least smart enough to keep it to themselves, because if they do, they got to know that if they're going to say anything at this point, the world is going to side not with them.
Right.
You know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, the world would have sided with him and said, yeah, there's no place for that in the NFL. But that's not today anymore.
No, definitely not.
I just want to know if this was like, if he announced it on purpose because of a PR move. That's all I'm thinking. I'm like, the Bachelor guy just did it, you know, and he's getting a lot of positive things from it. So it's like,
Well, I mean, it is Pride Month, so a lot of guys are coming out because it is Pride Month.
It's also training camp in like 3 weeks.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
You know, it's perfect timing for him to you know, it's kind of like Tebow Mania down in Jacksonville. Now all cameras are going to be on him at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You know, HBO is going to want to do something with them too. So you know how that goes.
If they get Hard Knocks this year, they won't, because they just had it.
Yeah, they just had it, but you know, they'll probably do some sort of special or something like that. Cool. All right, one other quick subject I want to touch on before we get to our Jersey talk. There is sources are reporting that Chauncey Billups and Becky Hammon are the finalists for the Portland Trailblazer job. If Becky Hammon gets a job, she'll be the first female to have a head coaching job in any professional league here in the United States. Is the NBA ready for a female coach? I mean, I
just got to ask this question, and I'm not trying to be funny at all about this, but like, how is that going to work from the locker room standpoint?
No. It's a legitimate question.
I don't know how it works in the WNBA, because I know there's a lot of male coaches in the WNBA. I don't know if they have to wait till the players are dressed till they go and talk play, but it's a little different in the NBA. You know, how's this going to work?
Well, I think they'll just have to set up guidelines and set up rules. I mean, you know, the information's still going to be the same. You know, I mean, who knows? There might be head coaches in the NBA who don't go into the locker room until the guys are changed. We don't know that. You know, that might be a thing.
I doubt it, but I don't know.
Right. It's. I mean, I think it's interesting. Go ahead, Vernon. What you got to say?
Yeah, no. I mean, I know that's just funny, Andrew. I feel like, you know, now I'm taking it to the next level. It's like, what if your eighth man is now sleeping with head coach?
Right.
It can happen now. I'm just saying. You know.
That's a
possibility.
That's a good point. That is a good point. You know, I mean, personally, I think it's time. You know, there has been some amazing female basketball coaches in this country. You know, Pat Summitt was like the trailblazer for all female basketball coaches, you know. And I think, you know, Becky Hammon's had the tutelage under, why am I drawing a blank to the guy in San Antonio? You know, Popovich, thank you. Yeah, she's had the tutelage, she's had the experience, you know. I mean, the NBA has been very progressive if you think about it. They're the first, you know, I mean, they've moved a lot of walls and broken a lot of ceilings in a lot of places. You know, they were the first league to have female referees. You know, as far as the gambling part of it, they had more of an attachment to Vegas. You know, they did events in Vegas before the NHL put a team in Vegas. So, I mean, I think it's time. I think it's absolute time. I think it'll be good for the league. I think, especially in Portland, Portland's a very progressive city, very, very, very left wing, So I think for that city to have a female coach, I think it'd be great.
Do you think we'll ever get to the point where we will see a female athlete in a male sport? Like, do you ever think if there are WNBA players that are better than NBA players out there, for sure? And I mean, Brittany Griner is incredible. Taurasi at her best. I know she's kind of on her way down at this point, but Taurasi could have played in the NBA at one point.
Well, there's that new girl, Brianna Stewart, who's amazing from what I've heard.
There are some WNBA players that are better than the worst NBA players. I mean, yes, you always have to worry about that 7-foot center Embiid knocking down some 5'7" woman, but aside from that, I mean, there are some WNBA players who can really play. And from a money making standpoint, from a publicity, marketing, everything, it's only going to be from a positive standpoint for the NBA.
I think in the NBA it might be tough, only because of the physicality of the game. I mean, in hockey they've had a female goaltender before, but when you're under the pads, all those goaltenders, they all wear the same amount of pads. So agility is agility, no matter female or male. A goaltender's not checking anybody. In baseball, baseball is, there's nothing too. I mean, it's physical, but it's not as, up against each other. I mean, do you want to see, even a Steph Curry, backing down on a female, and these players might play differently because, I don't want to hurt her or this and that. So it might, as much as I think it could happen, it might ruin the integrity of the NBA. You see what I'm saying? And I say that with all honesty. What do you guys think?
I agree with you.
We're a long way, but what about in a sport like baseball? What if a female pitcher comes along who can throw, as a relief pitcher who can throw 88 miles an hour or whatnot?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was that girl in the Little League World Series who supposedly had a chance of playing in the minor leagues, and it just didn't work out or something like that. Do you remember years ago? There was a girl from Pennsylvania, I think, or New Jersey or something like that.
Wasn't there a female field goal kicker on some NCAA team? But then
for Vanderbilt.
And there were allegations of like sexual harassment or misconduct or whatnot.
Yeah,
and you're gonna get that.
You're gonna get that. But she kicked and she was really good. There's been other kickers in other NCAA teams that have had chances to kick and stuff like that.
I think Carly Lloyd can be an NFL kicker.
She tried. Didn't she try with the Eagles or something like that?
I don't know if she tried. I know that she went out on Hard Knocks and was hitting like 40, 50-yard field goals.
Right.
With it,
well, I mean, if you could kick or you could do it, I mean, I think it'd be great for the league, not just from a PR standpoint, but just from a morality point. But I mean, are we there yet? Who knows? It's tough. It's really tough. It's a tough thing to crack.
Would you want it though? I'm not trying to be sexist at all. Would you want to see your NBA and your Major League Baseball, your traditional sports, go that path?
I'm on the fence. I'll be really honest. What about you, Vernon? No.
Hard pass.
If it was in the right situation, I think if the right situation came about, like as you said, a relief pitcher, or or a DH, or or in football, a kicker. Yes, a lot of these kickers kick the ball on kickoffs and they run off the field. They don't even play special teams anymore. So,
but then it's like, okay, now you're limiting them to, we can only be kickers. I was like, yeah.
Exactly.
What if said she wanted to try out for an NFL team? And what if she was better than your current team's kicker? Would you want her? She wouldn't want to play any other position.
Yeah, I mean, if whoever's trying out is the best for the job and can kick circles around the other kicker, points are points. And the NFL, points are points. And however you can get points, you get points. If you've got a female kicker who can come in and kick that ball into the end zone on kickoffs and kick a nice 49-yarder into the wind and whatever, sign them. It doesn't matter, but
like you'll never see a female wide receiver in the NFL or a female running back or that'll just never happen just because of size and whatnot. But if Carly Lloyd or any one of these other soccer stars want to try out, and she was better than your current kicker, you wouldn't want her just because he's a female?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. If it's the best person for the job as far as that position goes, yeah, kicker, sure, why not? I don't have a problem with it.
Even the kickers, you're the last man standing. You know, when someone's trying to run it back, you're the last person to try and tackle them. You might get hurt, and if you're not, I don't want a player to not want to really play hard, you know, to make the play because they don't want to hit a girl. You know what I mean?
Right. But now here,
I think they're going to go harder and make a point that she shouldn't even be in the league.
Shouldn't be there.
They might, but then now check this out. What if there's a female kicker? She kicks the ball off. Guy starts returning it. She's the last one, and she catches him. Then what happens?
You won't be able to hear that. You won't be able to live that down.
Think about that. Could you imagine?
Especially if she hit him like real good too, like popped him like.
That, or she runs him out of bounds, or she catches him by the back of the legs, or something like that. I mean, you know.
The only reason why that would never happen is those guys are just so fast and so strong. You know, as great as Carly Lloyd is as a kicker, I mean, is she bigger than 5'7"? You know, she's probably 5'7", 140 pounds max.
Yeah, but if she's quick, you never know. I mean, obviously these guys will be coming running full speed, and they're running 4.40s, but I mean,
4.40s and 200 pounds.
Yeah, no, I know. It'd be interesting if that ever happened. That would be really interesting.
Like, imagine them trying to really catch Tyreek Hill. Like, Tyreek Hill's coming at you, and she's just like,
It's like, boom, exactly. You're not even gonna see him. You gotta see him. All right. Well, let's talk jerseys. A couple weeks ago, Andrew and I started talking about who wore it best. We did numbers 1 through 10. And it was definitely some interesting conversations. So we want to keep moving on with this series and start number 11 through 20. So the first thing we did was what number, when you think of a jersey number, who popped in your head, and then who you think wore it best. So I'll give Vernon a minute to think about this. So Andrew,
you don't even have to let him think.
I don't need a minute.
You don't need a minute? All right.
Listen,
let him go.
You know,
so Vernon, let's start with your number 11. Who's number 11?
Listen, this is very heartfelt, and I think when I talked to you guys last week, I was still feeling it. I brought a little something for you guys. You know, I see you over there, Andrew, with the.
Oh yes, I need one.
The collection over there.
There you go.
Man.
I need one.
Julio, man, it's my pride and joy right here, man. But definitely, he's number 1. There's no second. It's Julio, number 11. No question.
Did you get that half off? Did you get that half off at the team store?
Actually, no. I got I have a Funko account. I didn't tell you
that. No, I wish I would have known that.
Because of my business, like when I sell sneakers and stuff, I get them wholesale.
Oh, there you go.
I wish I would have known that.
Yeah, man. Let me know, man. I got you. Whatever you need.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Julio Jones is your now. Do you think he's the best to ever wear number 11?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Drew, who you got?
There's not a lot of great players, but there's some. The names that wore it are pretty decent. The first one. Okay, go ahead. You go tonight first.
Okay, yeah. Well, when I think of number 11, I think of my boy Phil Simms. Growing up, you know, Phil brought us Giants to the promised land, so he was our guy. Mark Messier wore number 11. He brought us the Stanley Cup. So Messier is a close second, but for me, I mean, I got to say Isaiah. Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Famer. Yeah. Isaiah. For me, I mean, Mark Messier is a close for me, but Isaiah, just I don't know, something about Isaiah Thomas. I gotta go with that. I don't know why.
I gotta. So tough. I mean, just a notable mention. Klay Thompson also wears number 11.
Right.
This is a tough one. Is who wore it best? Bob McAdoo wore number 11.
Right.
Kyrie wore 11. I'm gonna go with Messier. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think maybe Messier. I gotta go with Messier or Isaiah. Even though I hated Isaiah as a player, I don't like him one bit.
Right.
As a person, Yao Ming also wore 11.
That's true.
Yao wore 11.
Yao Ming.
The first that came to my mind was Derek Harper, though. That's kind of weird.
Well,
I just see that.
that's our New York bias right there. So there
Right.
you go.
I don't see Mark Messier. I see Derek Harper.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I mean, I hate to diss Messi just only because he brought us a cup, but just I don't know. I got Isaiah a little higher than that. All right,
Yeah.
now 12 is a very interesting number because obviously Brady's TB12, but so many great quarterbacks in the NFL have worn 12, but obviously none of them have as many rings as 12. So let's start this number 12 discussion because there's so many to pick from.
Yeah, for me, it's Brady. It's Brady. I think Michael Jordan, if anybody can be called the GOAT aside from him, it is Tom Brady. And it wasn't like that for me until he just won the Super Bowl at Tampa Bay the year after. That's never been done. It's got to be Brady. I can't.
Yeah, you can't argue that. Except I'll give you a little basketball history. I'm sure Sis knows this just because of the whole jersey game. But you know who wore number 12 for one game, right? In 1990.
Michael Jordan sure did.
Yep, Michael Jordan wore number 12 for one day.
Really? I did not know that.
His jersey was stolen out of his locker in Orlando. And the equipment manager didn't have a backup except for a blank number 12 jersey. And
so
you can find pictures of him online wearing number 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty coll to see. There's actually, I think, it's not his basketball card. Sam Vincent out of the 1990 NBA hoop set has Jordan in the background wearing number 12. It's the card itself. Like every card in that set books for like 30 cents. This one card, and who knows who Sam Vincent is? It still books for like $1.50 just because the picture's Jordan in the 12 jersey.
Wow.
But yeah, that 12 has become one of those iconic numbers of Brady. I mean, so many great athletes have worn it, but it's Brady's number.
Yeah, I mean, you go down the quarterback list. You go Namath, Staubach, Ken Stabler, Aaron Rodgers, that type of thing.
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
Jim Kelly.
Kelly.
Randall Cunningham, Andrew. There's just so many. It's just one of those numbers that there's just so many great names, but you can't argue with Tom Brady. It's the same way when we get to 23, we know who's going to get that, but you can't argue.
You can't argue. Exactly. All right, let's go to 13. I'm going to start with 13. My 13, is Dan Marino. It always has been. I don't see any other 13. When I see 13, that's all I think about.
Okay. Fair enough. Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna go Wilt.
I was gonna say, I can't argue that at all.
I'm gonna go Wilt.
Who's the first? Yeah. But okay, so who's the first that came to your mind though? Like, what jersey did you see?
Actually, he's like the only person I knew that really wore 13. I'm lying. Steve Nash.
Yeah, Steve Nash wore 13 also.
Yeah.
True.
Steve Nash.
Mark Jackson popped in my head. I'm stuck in the 90s. I don't know what it is, but Mark Jackson popped in.
Oh, really? We never knew that. And it's funny, it's like, you look at Wilt with everything Wilt accomplished, you look at Marino with all his passing records and everything like that. Well, that's interesting, Nate. Ralph Branca wore 13. Wow, yeah, never would have thought of that. He's the guy that gave up the Bobby Thompson home run. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. 13 is one of those numbers that people thought it was unlucky to wear, so a lot of people didn't wear it. Yeah. But then, those who wore it, definitely, were able to make it stand out for sure. It's definitely.
And you know what? Living down here, I mean, it's true. Number 13 is synonymous when you go to a Dolphins game. You see it everywhere.
Right.
With Dan Marino. He's one of those legendary athletes who just that number follows everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And Jet fans hate that number because they could have had Marino instead of Ken O'Brien.
Do the Jets not give out that number? Because I'm trying to think now. I can't think of a Jet that has worn 13.
I can't remember anyone. I don't think of anyone who's worn it. But yeah, that's an interesting one. All right, Vernon, let's go to 14. Who do you got on 14?
Oscar.
Yeah.
Robinson.
Yep.
Robinson.
I like that.
Right?
Oscar wore 14. Yep. He did. Who do you got, Drew?
I mean, Big O as the greatest. My favorite player of all time. One of my two favorite players of all time. That was Mason. Wore 14. So, that definitely is the one that I think of. But you can't argue that Oscar Robertson's the best one to wear 14.
I don't know. Pete Rose wore 14.
No.
I don't know, man.
No.
Pete Rose, come on. Pete Rose, the hit king.
Oscar Robertson did more for basketball than Pete Rose did for baseball.
I don't know about that. Ernie Banks also wore 14 too. Ernie Banks was a trendsetter. If you're a soccer fan, Thierry Henry wore 14, but I don't know how many soccer fans are watching us right now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna argue that with Pete Rose, man. I mean, for what the way he played the game, I mean, from going, from an outfielder to an infielder for as many hits, and even his negative history on the game, you still have to kind of put him up there, in my opinion. They can go back to Bob Cousy, who wore 14 for the Celtics. So it was like, the quintessential point guard. Everyone kind of modeled the point guard after him until point guards started actually becoming more scoring guards.
But no one ever talks about Pete Rose being the best at his position in his sport. People do debate that Oscar Robertson maybe is the greatest point guard of all time.
That is true. Interesting. All right, what about 15?
Earl is the first one that pops into my head.
Earl Monroe, right?
Oh,
Earl Monroe.
That's a good one.
I'm going Vince.
Vince Carter.
Yeah, I'm going Vince.
I like it.
Insanity, baby.
Yeah, no, he, and it's amazing the career. I mean, okay, let's talk about Vince Carter for a minute. Is Vince Carter a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Why is he a Hall of Famer? Because of his longevity? Because he didn't win it? I mean, does he have a ring?
You don't know. There's a lot of players who don't have rings.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Besides the dunking, what did he do?
He transcended the game in that aspect, though.
Yeah. He also was right at that pivotal moment when the NBA went global, and he was a rookie in 98, 99. I'd say the league went really global by 2003 once Yao was there and Dirk and all those guys, and he was probably the most popular player from 99 till maybe 2003. Once he went to the Nets, unfortunately, popularity kind of shifted, but without a doubt, he's the greatest in-game dunker of all time. He put on the greatest dunk contest performance of all time.
Better than Michael?
Oh, yeah.
I'd say, yeah. I'd have to say so. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's guys now like stuff that Zach LaVine and what's his name?
Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon. I mean, they've done stuff that Carter didn't do, but in 2000, Vince was doing stuff that no one had ever seen in 30 years.
No one has ever seen those dunks.
They're just doing it on a different level.
Yeah, but people still talk about the Dominique Jordan matchup in the dunk contest.
That might have been the greatest matchup. That might have been the greatest matchup. But Vince Carter, I think, has put on the single, especially at the moment, like Sis said, as far as transcending the game. And in 2000 in Oakland, he put on the greatest dunk contest show in the history of the NBA. And anything after was just trying to emulate.
Yeah, I'll say this. It's like what Steph Curry did for three-pointers in the NBA, I feel like Vince Carter did for dunking.
I remember watching a Raptors game. I forgot who they were playing. It was 2000, though, the 99-2000 season. And it was a dead ball, and Vince ran to the other side of the court to dunk it. And the camera stayed with him. The crowd erupted over a dead ball dunk. People paid to come and hope to see a dunk.
No, that's true. That is very true. All right, let me see if I can do this. I just found the video of this. Let me see if I can. Hold on.
Can we get highlights on this show already? Can we get some clips?
I'm trying here.
Where's the budget?
Let's see. Did it work? Yeah, there it is. All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is from 2000.
Yeah, but you missed the dunk already. You missed it. You gotta rewind it.
All right, I'll rewind it. Hold on. Okay.
Is this a clip of all of his dunks?
It's the 2000 slam dunk contest. Vince Carter.
This was his first dunk. This was the 360 windmill. This is what started it off. No one ever did anything like that. One hand. It's just incredible. No one ever did anything like that. Let's just do the rest of the show. Watching this.
That is crazy. I mean, look at this elevation he gets. It's crazy.
And the power, the elevation, and then the power.
Wow.
They don't show Michael Jordan's free throw line dunk as much as they showed this.
No.
All
right, here's the second one. Let's see what he does here.
Do you know how hard that is to do without a running start? He literally just took off and did that.
That is crazy.
And that was probably his worst dunk of the night.
Yeah.
But just to come around the baseline, do that.
Come from the baseline, turn around, windmill with no run.
And to get 3 feet off the ground is nuts. That is crazy.
All right, this is the one where this is the first time we ever saw anything like that.
And we were like, oh, whoa, between his legs?
Off the bounce?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. Is that McGrady? Yeah, that's McGrady.
Yeah. Yeah, like, come on.
Wow.
It was just so perfect.
I think what amazes me the most is like when these guys dunk like this is the body control and how they're, when they're 3 feet in the air, but it makes it just look flawless. I mean, I would have killed to just be able to dunk the ball, let alone do anything like that. I mean, it blows me away.
It's amazing how much strength it takes to go against gravity, to do a double pump dunk.
Yeah.
You're up there and you bring the ball down. How much strength it takes to bring the ball back up as your body's kind of already on the way down. It's unbelievable. And the fact that these guys are doing it through spinning and whatnot through the legs, it's so much body strength that these guys just make look easy.
Ooh, yeah, that's crazy.
I won't lie to you. I was definitely doing that on like 5-foot hoops back in the day.
On the small hoop with the little Nerf ball.
Yes.
Who was it?
There you go. Well, you have a video from your old apartment, Drew, of you doing that, right? Something like that.
I made that video.
Something like that.
You playing that one right now.
Well, other 15s are Patrick Mahomes, Bart Starr, Melo wore 15 in Denver, right?
Yeah.
Jokic wears 15 now. Thurman Munson, may he rest in peace, wore 15. So, it's I mean, Vince is definitely up there, and I'll definitely and Tim Tebow, but we have a moratorium on Tim Tebow now. So
is it too soon to say Mahomes? Is it too soon to say Mahomes?
It might be. I think he needs another. I mean, yeah, he's putting up numbers. I think he needs another couple years or another ring, one or the other.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. So, all right, let's move on to 16. I think 16 is pretty obvious. So, I'll let you guys go first on 16.
Vinny Testaverde.
Stop it.
Stop it.
No, it's definitely Big Joe.
Yeah. I mean, he's the original GOAT,
Yeah, that's
the way 12 goes with Brady and 8 goes with Kobe. Does 8 go with Kobe or 24 or both? Does he get both?
Kobe gets both.
Okay, we'll say that for the next show. But there's just some numbers. 23 goes with Jordan, 16 goes with Montana. It's just
right. No, it's true. It's definitely true. But as a Mets fan, if Dwight Gooden would have stayed clean, he definitely could have had that kind of ranking, But obviously, he had his issues and all that.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, Montana is definitely up there with 16. Not many. I mean, there's a couple other players. Jim Plunkett, Len Dawson. Bob Lanier going way back, Bobby Hull wore it, his son Brett Hull wore it. So, but yeah, Whitey Ford wore it. Thank you, Nate. Nate's always coming into those type of things. So, which is cool. But yeah. All right. So let's move on to number 17.
I know who you're taking.
Who I'm taking?
Yeah, I know who you're taking.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, I grew up. I was a big Chris Mullin guy. Chris Mullin was my guy. So to me, I think he wore it the best. But I'm sure there's other people that
I know who wore better. I know who wore better.
Who?
You should go in your closet and get your jersey out.
Oh, me, yeah. Oh, when Andrew and I played in a basketball league, I wore 17 as a tribute to Chris Mullin, yeah. So
wow.
No points, rebounds, and fouls. That was me. I was the Bill Laimbeer of our team, if you will. Well, you broke up there. Try that again, sis.
I'm not saying. I was wondering if you were getting buckets.
I was.
No, Drew was getting buckets, man. He would hit those threes and do the little strut down the court. Oh yeah, man. He had his thing. He even did Iverson braids one game, man. It was dope.
I actually really believe that. Like I 100% believe that.
Yeah. We had some fun. We weren't very good, but we had fun. That's all that matters. That's all. But yeah, so who's your 17, Drew?
A Mullin. I mean, but also, I mean, listen, Havlicek is the greatest to ever wear it, but
right.
I still see Chris Mullin, and I'll still take Mullin. Maybe that's a generational thing, but it's hard for me to pick anyone but Mullin.
Yeah, I mean, Phillip Rivers wore it, and is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer?
I like Phil. He's a warrior, but I don't think he's a first ballot.
He's not a first ballot.
He might sneak in there.
He's got the numbers, you know.
Yeah,
he'll put in there for his numbers and his longevity.
I mean, there's the big argument of Phillip Rivers. People have said Phillip Rivers is more of a Hall of Famer than Eli. It's like, why do you deny Eli? You know, I mean, I can't see how you can deny someone who beat an undefeated team in the Super Bowl. Go ahead, Nate. What you got? You gonna say something?
Because he has a 119 record. If you want to use that stat into it.
That's true, though. They do say that, but still, 2 rings against Brady. I mean, you can't say no to that. All right, cool. Let's move on to 18. All right.
That's another easy one. This week's easy.
Yeah. It's Peyton, obviously.
We should do second opinion. We should do second best at this point.
All right. So who do you think were 18 second best?
I mean, listen, you brought up Doc for 16. You can't not bring up Darryl for 18.
Right. Exactly. Another wasted talent. Such a shame. You know, he had a couple great years that World Series team, but then it's a shame. Dave Cowan.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but talking about Doc, how crazy is it that he skipped the Mets victory parade because he was on a binger?
Yeah.
In a crack room up in Queens.
It's sad. Very sad. Very sad. You know, his whole career. I mean, he should have been so much better. He was so good coming out. You know, I mean, the whole Dr. K thing. I mean, there was even talk of making him a relief pitcher because he threw so hard. But it's just a darn shame. You know what happened with him. You know, as a Mets fan, it makes me sad just to see that. You know, we could have had more with him. But yeah, definitely not the best as he was. All right, well, let's move on to 19. So what are we saying about 19?
Keyshawn Johnson.
That's funny. Sis, what about you?
I think it's Johnny Unitas.
Yeah. Tony Gwynn's another great one. I think of Willis Reed.
Willis, yeah. Willis is definitely, could you and here's an interesting idea, and I don't know if this will happen, but could you imagine Kawhi having a Willis Reed moment in the playoffs?
It'll never. Not in today's league. Coaching and GMs and owners will never let that happen.
No. What happened that night was amazing and just historic. But yeah, you'll never see that again, unfortunately. Yeah, Unitas is definitely up there, but Tony Gwynn's definitely a close as a 1A if you think about it. As what he did as a hitter, as a baseball player, all the records he had, and remember Joe Montana wore 19 for Kansas City when he played there, but he didn't really do much with Kansas City, obviously.
Steve Yzerman on the Red Wings.
Yep.
By the way, where's our Islander update?
Oh yeah, Nate, what's going on with the hockey game? We forgot to ask you. All right, we're gonna wait till he chimes in here.
So the Lightning are up 3-0 over the Islanders in the midway. Well, actually, 16:30 left in the second.
Oh, geez, wow. Ugh. Okay. Well,
all right, no more updates.
No more hockey updates. All right, and let's move on to the last. Let's move on to the last number, which is 20. All right, 20 is an interesting number, I think. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you guys.
I'm gonna say Barry, right? One Barry was Barry 20.
Barry wore it. I think unfairly, people, you would say that he is the greatest to wear, but his career was so short. I also feel like he kind of quit.
I don't know. I mean, you can't knock Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt's definitely up there too. I mean, Mike Schmidt to me is like Mike Schmidt to me is Mount Rushmore third baseman.
Yeah.
So Schmidt's up there. Frank Robinson, first player, in both win MVP in both leagues, wore 20.
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, wore 20. Ray Allen was
Allen Houston.
Yeah, Allen Houston did, definitely. Hitting that layup against the Heat.
There you go.
I was down here when I was at a sports bar when that happened. I was down here and all these Heat fans and I'm just kind of sitting there in the corner smiling, like, okay. We won. Lou Brock wore 20 as well. Was the stolen base king before Ricky Henderson. Maurice Lucas, we can go back to that too. Don Sutton, Hall of Fame pitcher, wore that. Ed Reed wore 20, Hall of Famer Ed Reed. Ed Reed, big Ed Reed wore 20.
It's bad. I mean, it's hands down Barry Sanders.
I don't know. I would put Schmidt up there, to be honest. I mean, it's so tight. Only, and if Barry wouldn't have retired and played at least 3 more years, his numbers would be insane. I mean, his numbers are nuts as it is, but his numbers would have been untouchable if you asked me.
Would you rather wear that baby blue number 20 Barry Sanders jersey out in public, or that ugly maroon pinstripe Mike Schmidt Philly jersey?
Well, if I was from Philly, I'd wear the pinstripe, but since I'm not, I would wear the Barry Sanders. That's true. That is true. All right. Well, next week we will move on to the next set of numbers, 21 through 30. But speaking of jerseys, I've seen Andrew's collection. But Sizzle, talk a little bit about what you got in your closet as far as jerseys go.
Mine stopped circa, when did I go to for 2005, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I got Jordan, I got Iverson, I got Melo.
Which Iverson you got?
The white with the Sixers.
The rookie white, or the next generation?
The one that is like red, black, gold.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Like the NBA Finals white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that you have it signed? You have it signed, or?
I do not. I do not. But all of these were like the authentic ones. Because back then that's what I was into, like authentic jerseys. But yeah, no, definitely. I got a little something. I got my Dion. My favorite. That's my favorite. Football Dion. Yeah. Of course.
When he played for Atlanta.
Of course.
Okay.
Did you ever ask John Abraham for a jersey? Or you still never asked?
Did I ever what now?
Did you ever ask John Abraham for a jersey, or you still never asked?
I didn't. I actually have a jersey of him. He posted me on his Instagram wearing it too.
Oh yeah.
I should have told you about it. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool. And then actually, cool story. I was downstairs at the concierge desk. He comes downstairs and he has this like card. I'm trying to see if I see it. I don't see it right now, but he had a playing card and he just like tossed it over to me. I was like, shh. And he signed it and everything. I was like, what? He was like,
is he still in the building?
yeah, he still lives here.
That's crazy.
I saw him like 4 days ago.
Oh yeah, does he know you by name?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
Is he still as big as his playing days?
Yes.
Yeah.
He might be a little more slim, actually.
Okay.
Those guys are still big no matter what. Even when they stop playing, they're still big. I mean,
there's something. I met a lot of New York Jets growing up because I went to training camp every summer to go, meet, get as many autographs as I could as a kid. But there was no other athlete that held in comparison to just sheer size than John Abraham. When he would come walking down the hallway, it was like a brick. Like the way his physique was, it was literally like a rectangular brick, and as thick as like a brick would be if a brick was a person. Just like that, like he was just like the way his shoulders were just like out there, rectangle, straight down. Like you just knew it was John Abraham before, out of 100 other guys walking down the parking lot, you knew who John Abraham was because he was just that big.
Yeah, I can't believe football players are that. Like even when I go to Falcons game and if I'm like in the tunnel and they see them walk out, like they're huge, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's different than basketball. Like you like I've met a few basketball players who are like 6'9", 6'10", and it's like they're tall, but they're slender. You meet these football players who are 6'6", 6'7", and 300 pounds.
Oh yeah.
And they're monsters.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
I wouldn't want to
crazy.
be hit. I wouldn't want to get hit, but no.
I mean, what amazes me is how those guys get hit over the middle and they just get right back up and they're all right, let's go. And I'm like, I'd be like, I'm done. That's it. I retire. That's it. My career ends now.
What messes with my head more than anything now is like growing up, seeing these guys, it was like, okay, those are grown men. Like I'm watching grown men play. Now these guys are 10, 12, 14 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching these college kids, these high school kids who are just so huge.
Oh, it's crazy. Well, the weight training, it's all different now. The weight training, the nutrition, I mean, it's all so different than we were growing up. I mean, just the athletic, how these guys have their own trainers and this and that. I mean, it's a whole different ball game. It's absolutely crazy. All right, cool. Let's go to the last take of the night. Sis, you got one more hot take for us tonight? What do you got?
More hot take. I'm going to say, man, I think Aaron Rodgers is coming back.
Wow.
I think it's coming back.
Why?
Because he renewed his damn
the Country Club membership. Yeah, I saw that.
Membership.
Oh, that's it. That he renewed.
Yo, why are you gonna renew your Country Club membership in Green Bay? First and foremost, who wants to just live in Green Bay? No.
Right.
Where does Favre live now? Does anyone know?
Does Favre live? On some farm somewhere.
But isn't Favre like a country boy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers is not. He likes LA. He likes lights. You know what I'm saying? He's coming back.
Maybe he just renewed their country club membership because he's gonna have more time in between hosting Jeopardy.
Why would you renew it in LA then?
Right.
Go to Wisconsin to play golf. I mean, come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe he
doesn't care and has the money and just like, I don't care.
Maybe he likes the steak there. Who knows? Right? Who knows? All right, Andrew. Last hot take of the night. What you got?
Listen, just I'm all Team Hawks right now, but even if they don't make it, Hawks fans should have no fear. There's no Tennessee NBA team to take away that Atlanta superstar.
I'll say this though: if the Hawks end up winning the title, do you think they had to sacrifice Julio?
Maybe the city was not big enough. You're not even a Hawks fan to be happy about that.
I'm not, but it's like the city's happy. So if the city's happy, I guess whatever. It's cool.
Whose team was it? Was it Julio's or Matt Ryan's team over the last 5 years?
Who are you asking? You asking like me or what do I think? Me?
I'm asking
what do you think?
Julio's team. You know, everybody I talk to does not like Matt Ryan. Everyone I talk to wants to get rid of him. I'm the one defending Matt. You know,
Right.
I'm the one that's like, yo, it's not his fault. Statistically, he is a top 5 quarterback. You cannot tell me that is incorrect. That's just that.
Right.
You know, it's not our fault. Our defense was just trash. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like that was Julio. He had the locker room. You know,
So
I don't
what
think.
went wrong? Like, what does the average sports fan not living in Atlanta or diehard who has season tickets not know? Like, what do I and Yoel not know that went wrong? That they gave up on Julio and not Matt Ryan.
It's not really that they gave up on him. It's just that Dimitrov was horrible with math. You know what I mean? And just
Right.
had our whole cap messed up. And then when the new regime came in, they just went about it wrong. You know what I mean? They leaked it out that he was up for a trade, and Julio was like, "Yo, damn, like really?" You know?
So
Not
numbers.
cool.
It unfortunately becomes a numbers game, and it's sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad. You
It's
know,
interesting. Like, he's going to a team with no quarterback, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do numbers wise.
But see, he's yes and no. Like, yeah, Tannehill's not throwing it deep to him like that, but he's gonna have one-on-one coverage
Exactly.
because they got to stop that running back. You know what I mean? And they're, you know, he's already getting 2,000 yards with 8 in the box.
Right.
So you try to put 8 in the box now. Now he's getting one-on-one, or Brown's getting one-on-one. Pick your poison. Which one?
Right. And
But
all Julio needs is a step or two, and he's gone. So all
But-
Tannehill has to do is put her over the top.
To your
He's gone.
point, though, if Henry's getting 30 touches a game, how many left attempts is Julio going to be seeing, especially with Tannehill as a quarterback who's not going to throw 40 yards down the field?
You got to play it by ear. I mean, play action is going to be a big, play action. Is gonna
Oh,
be
big
tough.
time.
It's
Can
gonna
Henry
be tough.
throw? Can Henry throw at all?
Yeah, he's throwing a couple flea flickers. Yeah.
Can you
Oh,
imagine
really?
if Henry can throw downfield to Julio? You can't stop that.
It's going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to be a fun team to watch. Tennessee will definitely be a fun team to watch. It's going to be interesting. Atlanta fans will definitely be like, grinning their teeth, like, "Oh man, what do we give up? This is crazy."
He did.
So,
I'd be happy if he got a ring. I'd be happy for him.
Exactly.
You know?
All right. My last hot take of the night is Jacob deGrom pitched again tonight, had 5 shutout innings, 1 hit ball, 6 strikeouts. Once again, dominating the league. He's definitely going to win the Cy Young, might even win MVP. They're talking about the Mets are 4.5 up. Could be our year. We'll see what happens. Who knows? I don't know, but definitely encouraging to see what deGrom's coming out with tonight. So hopefully he can stay healthy, and we will see what happens. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for everything tonight. Andrew, Sizzle, thank you all for coming out. We'll see everybody next week. We will have more NBA stuff next week because, these series might, be into it and they might be over. Who knows what will happen? You never know. Thank you, Nate, for all the updates and everything. Check out Real Talk next. There's Julio. Check out Real Talk next. And then we got Sports Corner at 11 o'clock. And we will see everybody next week. We out.
Awesome. See you guys.
Later.